Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Journey Out podcast, where we discuss all things family values, entrepreneurship, and healthcare and financial literacy. Today, we're continuing our series on healthy aging, living well at every stage. So let's hop right into it.
I know some people probably had it hard, but I was blessed. I ain't never saw my mom and daddy stressed. They only show success. I'm living comfort from the sweat out they backs, and that's why all I ever wanted was to give it back. I'm not ashamed cause I was raised right. Nope. I would only be ashamed if I didn't help you fight through the pain, help you journey out the games that your mind played. No matter what, I'm never letting my shine fade away. Forever searching for knowledge, hoping I find grace. Keep your intentions pure, be sure about the risk you take. Pop said failure builds character. I came up short a time or two. Your mind know what your heart been through. Don't let that pressure startle you, and faith out in the Lord will do you justice. We sat and we discuss it. This assistance for the public. A little love will help recover from your struggle. If iron sharpens iron, and let's turn out together forever. J-O-P. Journey Out podcast. Welcome to the Journey Out podcast.
All right, so today we will be talking about brain health and preventing memory loss. But first, I want to say, please like, follow, subscribe, and share this podcast for those who need to hear this information, but also those who you know will be able to support this channel to be able to get it out to their friends and just let them know about all the good things that's going on here at the Journey Out podcast. Also, one quick announcement is that this episode is brought to you by PC Home Health. They provide non-medical in-home care across all of the DFW area to seniors in their home. So meal prep, light housekeeping, medication reminders, whatever it may be, we can do it inside of the home. So please feel free to give us a call, 214-991-5619. So now, let's just hop right into the episode here. So we're talking about brain health and preventing memory loss, which we know about all too well, especially in the field that we're in. So I want to hit you with a few quick statistics, if I can get the word out this morning. Some stats. So 1 in 9 Americans over 65 has Alzheimer's disease. Okay. And studies show up to 40% of dementia cases could be prevented with lifestyle changes. Now, many people believe that memory loss is just inevitable, and that's really not the case, right? And so tell me a little bit about, from families that we've seen and talked with, what are some of the myths that they have concerning memory loss?
Because you're getting old, it's memory loss. Soon as you start forgetting that it's probably dementia.
Right.
And probably just because you're getting old that you can't do something to try to slow it down or reverse.
Right.
So those are some big myths.
Right. I think too, it's important that we keep our minds sharp at every age. So our brain is a muscle, and we have to exercise it, just like we talked about exercising our body and moving our body and getting that going. Our brain works the same way. It needs constant stimulation in order to let those neural connections happen and, to go throughout our day. And so there's different things that we can do to kind of exercise our brain and mentally stimulate it. So there's things from like learning a new language or a musical instrument.
And puzzles, Sudoku, chess, board games, things of that nature.
Reading books, which is something I love to do.
And taking up new hobbies.
Right.
You read books?
You know I read books. Why you over here lying? Listen, y'all, I am...
No, I'm saying that in the sense, yes, girl, you read books. You have a whole library at the house of books. Yeah. And that's a good thing. I wish you got that from me, but that's not me.
Honestly, I don't know who I got that from.
Your mom.
Mom is a reader, but she like reading like...
She'll read
or something. Like she's not trying to read books just like that. But that's something that's super important for me. But that's actually something that I picked up. I was like, hey, I just wanted to be immersed in different worlds. I wanted to learn about, business, religion. I want just to be kind of enthralled into different things. But tell me something that recently, a hobby you picked up or a skill that you recently tried to pick up?
Well, I tried to pick up the reading, right? Learning more about business on the financial side and things like that. Learning more on how to grow businesses and stuff like that. Right. So I think that's really my input of something that I want to learn, something that keeps me going. So I think that's been So picking up books and reading a little bit more, that's been good. But what I need to do, honestly, is start exercising.
Yeah,
right.
That'll be a good habit. It works out everything. That'll be a great habit. I'm not gonna even tell the story. I'm not doing that. Not right now. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna exercise. But I think one of the things that I've recently tried to pick up and like try to be more consistent with is pottery. You know, we win and I got a whole pottery machine now, and you know, I'm just you know.
Pottery, right?
Yes.
Okay, yes, you want to get a pottery machine, which is a good hobby to pick up. It's great,
relaxing.
But you know, sometimes if we don't continue that hobby, it just becomes something that's sitting on the backside that I told you not to do because I knew that you wasn't going to. Yes.
But listen, it's there when you need it.
It's there when you need it.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Okay.
But I think also too, besides like hobbies and things like that, like having social connections is super important for also strengthening brain functions and reducing stress hormones, which we talked a little bit about in a couple episodes back. It is a statistic that says loneliness increases dementia risk by 50%, according to a 2020 study. So it is important that we are staying socially engaged. And for all of our caregivers out there who are caring for a loved one, it is important that your loved one does not feel isolated or just stuck in their home or just, by themselves, because
they have a way to they have an outlet,
right,
to participate in society. You know, so because sometimes when you get older, you want to stay in the home. You don't want to do nothing. Now, what you want to do, you want to go get your medication from Walgreens or CVS, or you want to go to the grocery store. And that's the only two things that you want to do.
Right.
That my experience with the elderly. You know, that's what they worry about.
All the time.
But the main thing is socializing with their peers, right? Going to adult daycare facilities.
Right.
Also, maybe even going to senior centers, right? Those senior centers can also pick them up from the house and take them to the senior center, and also they can bring them back to the house.
Right.
So those things, socializing with your peers, doing activity with your peers, kind of gives you a new breath of life and keeps you going mentally.
I mean, and then it's even as simple as you just picking up the phone as a caregiver or as a sibling or whomever, just calling and saying, hey, just checking on you, how you doing, 20, 30 minutes, taking time just to make sure that you're conversating with them. Maybe it's a video call, FaceTime, or something like that. There's also clubs people can join, like YMCAs.
Yes.
There's community outreach stuff, so volunteering for a charity that's, that you find that its impact is just one that you want to support, and different things like that. So,
and I like that, because the charities can be something that you did in your youth, that you enjoy doing at your youth, and then maybe if that's feeding the homeless, maybe if that's going to a Goodwill and just helping sort clothes or whatever that may be, or even going to church and joining the choir or something like that.
Just something that can stimulate you, because again, socialization is like fuel to the brain, essentially. So you want to be able to engage in thought-provoking conversation, and also communicate just on a regular basis with somebody who can just have companionship, essentially, is what that's doing.
Check this out. I just thought about this, and I'm not saying that it haven't been done. Hopefully somebody is doing it. But you can also, if you're a caregiver taking care of a loved one, if you can get her friends together and probably have a social day out on a weekend or something, 2 or 3 of them, maybe 5, take them to lunch, or if they like to play bingo or watch a movie, something like that. That'll be great.
Or even with those hobbies that we were talking about earlier. Maybe there's a book club you start.
Book club.
Pottery club. Whatever that looks like. You can do a bunch of different things, but it's just important about keeping them social, because that is mentally stimulating the brain. But also one thing that we know for sure is like sleep definitely impacts brain health. We already know that. So what sleep does, it flushes out toxins from the brain, including beta-amyloid, a protein linked to Alzheimer's. And so we had the very good Dr. Diana Curran come on and talk to us a little bit about Alzheimer's.
Shout out to Dr. Curran.
Yes, Dr. Curran Medical Center. Talked to us about beta-amyloid and kind of how that plaque kind of grows. That protein grows and it's linked to Alzheimer's. And so poor sleep can lead to cognitive decline, which we know about, mood changes, and memory loss. So it's important to make sure that we are getting sleep, because if we know that protein in the brain is linked to Alzheimer's, and if we don't flush it out, that means that it can stay, then that means we have a likelihood of getting that protein and getting Alzheimer's.
So I know too well about sleep. Right. And it's probably like this for a lot of business owners or people in general, but you're working hard all day, and you try to dot your I's and cross your T's, and then it's time to go to bed. Either you got something done to do, or because something come up, or your brain can't truly relax while you sleep.
Yeah.
Right. So we did a little study with a wellness doctor, and I realized that really while I'm asleep, my brain is still active. Yeah. And maybe that's me thinking while I don't know exactly how it was, but that was hindering my sleep. Right. Right. And that I was still waking up, not feeling like, hey, I got rejuvenated and got rested. Yeah. So sleep plays an important factor in that, because then I'm asking Bree, hey, what we got to do today? And Bree probably done told me 20 times.
60 times.
Yeah, I said 20, you say 60?
60.
Well, she probably done told me, I guess, 60 times what we have to do, but because of my brain fog and because I can't focus or concentrate and lack of sleep, it hindered me a little.
Right. And I think too, like when we talked to that our wellness doctor, one of the big things was creating a routine for your sleep. Right. And so like now I'm trying to be more conscious of it. It doesn't happen all the time. Like I didn't go to bed till like 5 this morning. Like it's not always, it doesn't always pan out. Right. Something's come up, but it really is important to try to set a routine so that way your body is used to it. Because really once you get on that routine, your body's going to naturally start shutting down on its own. Like, oh, it's about that time. I'm going to, go to sleep. And so maybe around 7 o'clock, it's like some sleep time tea. Right. We're resting. There's maybe a bath, something, whatever relaxes you, whatever gets you down. Maybe it's like a not so extensive book that you're reading or something that just calms you down.
A book can calm you down in some cases, but what you don't want to do is try to go to sleep and you got your TV on or your phone in your face.
Or you just drunk an energy drink 2 hours before, or coffee or whatever that may be. You want to try to limit the screen time during that time, because that again gets those neurons start snapping and firing, and then like you're just energizing, you're awake. But also just deep breathing exercises, just something that can relax you, because studies show that chronic sleep deprivation can increase Alzheimer's risk by 33% due to toxin buildup. So it's just super important that we're kind of monitoring those things, because we don't think about it like that. We just think, oh, I didn't get enough sleep last night, but we don't know really what it is doing to our body and to our health and to our brain health.
And hopefully we can get Dr. Karen on here again.
Yes, to talk more about that. That'll be awesome. Yes. But the truth is, there is a thing called dementia. And a thing called Alzheimer's. Dementia being that umbrella term that encompasses many and various types of dementia. Alzheimer's being the one that's kind of mostly known to most people, but there are various types of dementia, and then there's the disease of Alzheimer's. But it's important that we know the difference between normal forgetfulness and dementia, because I think that's one of those things that I hear all the time. They're like, well, what if I forget my keys, where my keys are, or my phone? Well, that's normal, right? Most people do forget where their keys are or where their phone is, but the thing is, you remember it later. Or there's maybe times where we're taking a little longer to process something. Like even today, right? I had a bunch of things going as we got out of the car. I left the car running as I got out of the car. And it took me a little longer to process, why do I, why is this car still going? Well, Bree, you forgot to turn the car.
And that's probably a little due to something happens, you reacted.
Yeah, doing too much at one time and not focusing on the main thing. Right. That's kind of what that was. Or, trying to retrace your steps because you're trying to find the TV remote mode or something like that. That's normal. But signs of dementia look a lot different from that. Maybe it's forgetting common words or how to do familiar tasks. So like, I know you're my father, your name is Antoine. If I don't remember that you're my father and your name is Antoine, then that could be cause for concern.
Right. Or getting lost.
Right.
Coming home when you done drove that route plenty of times from home to the store. Right. From home to Walgreens or whatever that may be, and you get lost, and you probably get a call from your loved one saying, "Hey, I'm lost." Right. Well, Mom, Dad, where you at? Well, this is the street I'm on. Well, Mom, you right around the corner.
Right.
Those are some signs,
Those
right?
Are big
Those
signs.
are some big signs. So.
Yeah. Even like difficulty following conversations or even handling finances. That is a red flag for a lot of people who realize that, okay, my mom, my dad, my sister, whomever is going through something different. The lack of finances, they're now getting evicted, or the phone bill hasn't been paid.
Right.
You're like, what is going on? Those are key signs because they don't know how to do those functions anymore, or like repeating the same stories or questions frequently. So, a lot of our patients be like, hey, I went to the store yesterday, and then they come back, I went to the store yesterday, and it repeats. And there's ways, of course, that you deal with that, but the common thing is you should not repeat that just consistently like that. So those could be signs of dementia. But I want everybody to know dementia is not a normal part of aging. It does not happen because you're getting older. It really does not. It really has to do with the protein that's built up into the brain. And again, there's different forms of Alzheimer's, different forms of dementia, and then there's Alzheimer's. So it's important that you're talking with your provider when there is a diagnosis given, so you know what type of dementia it is and how to handle that disease, because different types of dementia do different types of things, and you'll be able to kind of combat those behaviors that come with that if you know how to handle it and what to expect.
So tell me this. So what are some major risk factors when it comes to cognitive decline? Excuse me if I said that.
Cognitive decline.
Cognitive decline, yes.
So we talked a little bit about it with the protein, and Dr. Kerwin, please go back and watch that conversation with Dr. Kerwin, because she talks
it was awesome.
Profoundly on genetics. She talks about the APOE4 gene that increases the risk. And so families, what can happen today, so, technology has come a long way.
Right.
What you can do now is you can test and see if you have that gene, that APOE gene. You can test and see if you have it, which can tell you that you may be more likely to have Alzheimer's or dementia. There's also chronic health conditions that can affect your memory as well. So like high blood pressure, diabetes, obesity, a lot of things that are facing our community, a lot of communities. So it's important that we're taking care of our health in that way. Again, exercise. So lifestyle habits too, smoking, poor diet, lack of exercise. Exercise is important. Making sure we're maintaining our diabetes. If we are going to dialysis, making sure we're going to our dialysis appointments, doing all those things to further better our health so we don't have that cognitive decline. Because that's essentially where it stems from, not taking care of our body in the best way. But even little lifestyle changes, like just adding walking for 30 minutes a day, can improve that significantly.
And we're gonna get into it. Your diet, right?
Yes.
So the brain boosting diet. All right. What are the best foods that you think that can help your diet?
Again, I'm gonna plug Dr. Kerwin. She talked about this so well in that episode. But leafy greens.
And this for brain health.
Right, for brain health. Kale, spinach, collards, show cognitive decline. Fatty fishes, so salmon, sardines, tuna, omega-3s, good for brain function. Berries, blueberries, strawberries, berries typically reduce inflammation, so that's why you want to digest berries. And then there's the nuts and seeds, so almonds and walnuts, they support like memory and cognition.
So exercise and all-inclusive healthy type diet can help prevent or slow down the cognitive brain
decline.
All right.
And so it's called the MIND diet. So it's a mix of like Mediterranean foods and things like that, but studies have shown that it does reduce Alzheimer's risk by 53% if you follow it consistently. So not hopping on it for a week and then jumping out, because you know how we do.
Well, why you look at me when you say that?
No, it's a mutual thing here.
So I just start exercising for a week and eating good, and then next week I want the burger. That's what you're saying?
Now, I'm gonna be honest. We don't last a week, but no, and it's natural. So let's talk about that too, because there's no judgment, and then there's also like you don't have to be so hard on yourself.
And maybe you can take a little bit of it at a time, instead of trying to get a gym membership and go to the gym. And I'm gonna eat healthy on this day and do this. Okay, maybe let's take a little bit at a time. Maybe let me start walking at home first. Let me go outside and walk for 5 or 10 minutes first. Okay, instead of drinking a lot of soda, let me start drinking some water. Let me cut back on the soda a little bit.
Yeah.
Let me implement at least maybe for lunch, I'll eat a salad.
Right.
Or eat some vegetables or something, and then dinner you probably pick up. But just take small steps at a time, because that'll make it easier for the long run.
Yeah, and me, I'm kind of one of those people. I'm just all in. So you tell me we about to switch it up. I'm in, and I have to realize you got to kind of slow down because it can be overwhelming.
Right.
And then when you don't meet those markers, you feel bad, and then you just go through this whole cycle of just shame and guilt, and then you're back at square one where you're doing whatever you want to do, and it's not healthy for your body. So definitely take it in stride. I would say implement one thing every month and do it consistently, because the studies show that once you do it for 30 days, it becomes a habit. So
and when you're doing that, implement that one thing, stay focused on that one thing, and then, like you say,
add to it. Add something new each month. So maybe it's a salad for lunch for a whole month, and then maybe it's walking plus the salad for the next month, and maybe it's walking, salad, and now I'm going to go and make sure I'm drinking only water or whatever. So just making sure you're adding it and kind of it's like setting goals. We talked about setting goals a little bit, long-term goals, and making sure they're in increments where you can achieve those goals. That's
because
important.
You don't want to set the bar real high, and then once you set that bar real high, you didn't hit it. Now you feel like you failed.
It's over.
And it's over.
There's
so
no
you
use
go back
in doing
this.
this.
Yeah, so don't do that.
But there are some foods to avoid. So we talked about the foods that should be eaten. What to avoid: processed sugars and refined carbs. They're in literally everything. But what it does increase inflammation in the body. So it's important to kind of avoid those. High sodium and highly processed foods. I'm a salt girl. I put salt on everything. So just reducing that intake, and also excessive alcohol consumption is also something you want to avoid for better brain health. Again, when you're under the influence, you're not thinking clearly, right? So you want to just make sure that those are some things that you avoid or do in small amounts, so that way you are protecting your brain health. But then we also talked about physical activity. So regular exercise increases blood flow to the brain and reduces cognitive decline. So it's just important that you're doing exercises, but not all exercises are good exercises, if that makes sense.
Right, but I say some exercise is better than no exercise, So
that is true, but it's important to know the type of exercises that you're doing. So like aerobic exercises, right? So that's like walking, swimming, dancing. Those are good exercises to improve brain health, but also that's like good cardio, stuff to get the heart pumping, because again, we heard about the chronic conditions, which we'll talk more about in a later series. Heart disease that does impact cognitive decline, high blood pressure, things like that. There's also strength training, so using weights and stuff like that, which improves blood circulation. Yep. And then yoga
and Tai Chi. I mean, it reduces stress. It enhances your focus. They say it's good. I haven't tried yoga.
I know Pilates is a real thing right now. A lot of people are taking on Pilates and doing that for some physical activity. And again, it just reduces stress and enhances focus, which is good for the brain.
And also for the elderly, if you can't do all this stuff, chair exercises are also good. We talked about that previously, but chair exercises, something minimum, walking is also good for you.
Right, just 30 minutes. 30 minutes a day will change everything.
And remember, 30 minutes a day, you probably can't start off with 30 minutes, but maybe 5, 10.
And just increase.
Short-term goals to the long-term.
Right. And then I would just say, just remember to take care of you. That would be one of my last little tokens I'll give. Because we get enthralled in the day-to-day, we get enthralled in work, we get enthralled in family, and there's fires, like we like to call them, that pop up out of nowhere majority of the time, and it's important that we're also taking care of ourselves in the mix. So one of my big things was I'm going to make sure that I'm eating, because I will go throughout my day and I'm like, oh, we got to get here by this time. I got to do this, and I'm going, and then I never eat, or it's not till about 3 or 5 where it's like now I'm finally sitting down to eat, and that's not good or healthy, not from my body as a whole, but not from my brain either, because I'm just a brain fog.
So tell me this. You being young, right?
Right.
What is one thing you will implement out of what we just talked about? What is one thing to help you for future brain health that you will implement right now?
I think definitely the food. Mm-hmm. I think the food, because I believe, for me personally, I do a lot of walking and things like that just on a day-to-day basis. But I think what I'm giving myself at the end of the day, and I done worked 12 hours in the day and hadn't eaten anything, and then I'm like just snacking on candy and stuff like that. I think I would do better for myself if I did change my eating habits and make sure that it was according to that mind diet, something that is fulfilling. So when I do take those breaks, I'm getting re-energized and I have better clarity. All right,
I got another question before we get out. All right, we talked about the elderly. We talked about caregivers taking care of their loved ones, how they need to look out for themselves and treat themselves and help their loved one that they're taking care of in this brain cognitive state to get better brain health. So for the young people out there, what would be your best advice for them?
I would say, that's a good question. I would say my best advice would be to slow down. And I would say slow down, and I would say, like, look at yourself, take care of yourself. I will prioritize sleep. I will prioritize social connection, because it's very easy for us to just be on our phone. It's quicker to send a text. It's, easier to be on TikTok or whatever it may be. But I would definitely slow down, prioritize my sleep, and make sure that the social connections that I have, I'm nurturing those connections and building those relationships.
And meaningful.
Making them meaningful relationships instead of just everything is so quick and fast and high and by.
Microwave.
Right.
No microwave relationships.
Okay, expound on that.
Well, something that, like you said, that you're not nurturing. Something that
quick
you're not.
And easy.
Yeah, quick and easy. Yeah. So, no microwave relationship.
Look, it's a full course meal.
Yes.
Okay, I'm with you. I'm with you.
Okay. All right.
I'm with you. Look.
So give us all in general some final tips.
So final tips, some key takeaways from the episode. First thing is keep learning. Yes. Please keep learning. Yeah. Learn something new. Get a new hobby. Enjoy something different. Switch up the environment. Just try to make sure you're mentally stimulating your brain. Also, stay socially connected. No microwave relationships. Right. We need full course meals. Nurture those relationships.
Be intentional.
Go out, be intentional. Go out, talk to people, connect face to face, and try to really hone in on just getting those conversations that really invoke thought and it's thought provoking.
Eat better for brain health.
Eat better for brain health.
Focus on your greens, fish, berries, and nuts and things like that.
Right. I would also say prioritize sleep is a big one. Make sure you aim for between 7 and 9 hours a night, and get you a really good night routine to help you achieve that goal.
Yes.
And then exercise regularly, movement, just getting around, moving, walking, whatever that might be. Again, you don't have to do the whole thing at once. Put it in increments, but do it for better brain health, for better body health, and to just feel like, you're becoming better at the end of it, right? No stress, just being healthier and having a sharper mind.
And before we go with all this, please consult with your doctor about, what is the best route for you to take in this healthy brain health journey and getting better physically as well.
Absolutely. So that wraps us up for the Journey Out podcast today, episode 2 of our series of healthy living. Please feel free to like, share, subscribe, and share with anyone who needs to hear this. Caregivers, moms, dads, sisters, brothers, grandparents, whomever. And we will catch you on the next episode where we'll be talking about nutrition. So we'll catch you all there. See you later. Bye.
Peace out.